I'm pretty sure we're all sick and tired of seeing Dylan Mulvaney's face plastered on absolutely everything, especially affiliated with women and him representing women. But we still gotta talk about this because there is so much going on top of just representing a crap ton of brands recently because everybody just suddenly wants to work with him. I think that Dylan Mulvaney may possibly have been planted into the entertainment space by the elites. You know, we have Hollywood elites, all that kind of stuff who are running everything, and the corruption involved in all of that, and all kinds of stuff that's going on in Hollywood that we probably have no idea about. That is just terrible and probably unspeakable and unthinkable. Okay. And because Satan, we really are in a battle of spiritual warfare, and Satan is involved in that. And what this seems like to me is that the powers that be, the elites in society, the hidden people who are running everything, the puppeteers, I think it's very possible that they found this guy who is an actor, who's trying to be an actor, and wasn't ever able to accomplish what he wanted to do. And it is possible that they could have planted him in this space. And that is one reason why he's getting brand deal after brand deal after brand deal after brand deal to be a spokesperson, because they're all tied to that anyway. They have the connections with that. They planted him and they made all this happen. That's very possible. The fact that he was at the White House and it had an interview with the president of the United States, that's what makes me think this is very possible. Call me crazy. And again, I'm not saying it's a fact, but it's very possible. But even that said, I still feel like this is worth talking about for multiple reasons, which I will go over in the video here. But just for the uninformed, Dylan Mulvaney is a dude who cosplays as a woman, essentially, basically saying it's day 365 or however many now. Yeah, this, okay? I don't even know what else to add to that. Let's just, this. Home from day 365 and ready to take on the world, okay? So he just gets to wake up one day and decide that, hey, I'm a woman, and document and make videos saying day 1 of being a woman, day 2 of being a woman, day 3 of being a woman, and now we're past day 365. And then, as you can see, he just does this performative act that no woman acts like this. So, yeah. I have a lot of opinions on this kind of stuff. I think ultimately this falls more on the brands than him, more than anything else, because he found a loophole and he's profiting on it. And I know a lot of people are taking out their frustrations on Dylan himself, and I get it, because it's annoying. But if Dylan were to step down, or if Dylan were not to do this, it would just be another dude that they would replace in this anyway. This whole transgender ideology, this transgender movement and activism and all of that is erasing women, pushing women out of the way. I guess he even said in this tweet, well, I guess us ladies can just go back to the kitchen then, since men cosplaying as us have taken over everywhere else. It's funny because I'm feeling like wow, I'm actually, do we actually need feminism right now? But where are they? Where are they with this? I know some are speaking out, but a lot are not. But it's just like, feminism has taken things so far. And honestly, I do think that this is a result of feminism in a lot of ways, because feminists were pushing for this and accepting this and so on and so forth. But now people are opening their eyes and seeing things for what they are. And whenever you start celebrating this kind of stuff, right? That's when we start to have big issues. And that's when things like this start to happen, or things like that start to happen, which I'll go over here in a second. But anyway, he got a lot of backlash for this, and he made a video Okay, Ollie London reported on this saying Dylan Mulvaney responds to backlash over his recent brand partnership with Nike, women, and Bud Light. In a TikTok video, Dylan pretends to cry and act upset, claiming there's a lot going on. All right, let's just see what it says. Okay, it's 37 seconds. Let's watch it.
Hi, how are you? I haven't been making as many videos. There's been a lot going on.
Yeah, you haven't had to make that many videos because you already are making bank right now with all of these brands that you're working with. You don't need to make videos. You got money now.
And I was feeling a little down today, but I was walking on the sidewalk in New York, and this garbage truck drives by me, and the garbage man leans out of the truck and goes, "Hello, Dylan." And I went, "Hello." It was the most unexpected person, and it gave me the courage to keep going. And I love you. And if you're that man that's watching this right now, you really made my day. And I especially love you. Okay. Hi.
All right. So, either this is all part of the act or it's legit that Dylan Mulvaney is starting to feel down and discouraged by a lot of the backlash that he has received, case in point. And the thing is, though, is like I said, if he stepped down and didn't do it, someone else would anyway. So while I do think what he's doing is disgusting and wrong, I also think it's fake because, as pointed out by Ollie London here as well, there's probably cups in this sports bra because he has no breast tissue, like zero. It is like not even pectoral muscles hardly. It is skin over flesh. And if he really were transitioning, I mean, let's just observe here. Obviously, no amount of hormones or surgeries or anything like that are going to turn a male into a female. It just doesn't happen. But when they get on hormones and all that kind of stuff, typically you will see weight gain when a man is on estrogen, some sort of synthetic form of it. You'll see some sort of weight gain. You'll see some sort of breast tissue grow, even when dudes just eat a bad diet. Or speaking of Bud Light, even if they just drink enough beer, you'll start to develop some breast tissue as a man. Like this guy, a lot of the modern diet and the modern government approved dietary guidelines are causing a lot of that in men. And I do think that's by design as well, but that's a whole other video. But it is causing testosterone in men to lower, and there are some negative effects to that, even physically, with some sort of breast tissue forming, so on and so forth. There is zero on this guy. As you can see, his body is just completely that of a very lean, pretty underdeveloped, working out wise man. Like, this is just a skinny man. Okay? Now, if he were to be on estrogen for a year and all that, there would be something. Yeah, like typically, some sort of breast tissue forms. It's not necessarily huge, but some. And there is usually some sort of weight gain that goes on with men who take estrogen. And there is zero. I am personally under the impression that this dude, this is all an act. He wanted to be famous, and he wanted to be famous in any way that he possibly could, because people who chase fame and are obsessed with being famous, and a lot of people who try to be actors, for example, which I'm pretty sure didn't he try to do, they don't care what they are famous for as long as they're famous. They don't care what it's for. And so he found his avenue, and he got some fame, and he's making some money in a very immoral way, but he found his loophole, and he's capitalizing on it. But let's look at somebody else. Like, this dude also found a loophole. Now, this dude, I feel like, was just S-tier trolling. Like, this was all a troll. I don't think in his case he was wanting fame or anything like that. He was just like, oh, look, here's a loophole. Maybe if I do something just completely outlandish, like put on prosthetic titties that are a Z cup or however big that are just absolutely preposterous and making an absolute mockery out of everything, then maybe I can get some paid leave, because what are they going to do? So he committed to this stunt for a long time and got placed on paid leave as a result. The guy doesn't have to work and he's making money. Now, in this kind of situation, it's like, don't hate the player, hate the game. Now, I don't think it's moral, just like I don't think this is moral that Dylan is doing, but they found a loophole and they're capitalizing on it. This is why we have to stand up against the old agenda as a whole and start to set some boundaries, okay? Because while I think being transgender and doing all that, I think it's wrong. I'm a Christian. I think there's a demonic element to it. I've gone over this so many times, but I don't believe in pushing all of my beliefs on the world and everybody else, because God did give us a choice. So you can't force people to follow the Bible. That being said, there's still boundaries that need to be put in place. And whenever you are encroaching on the safety of women, encroaching on women's spaces, or erasing women, which is what's going on here, then yeah, okay. Let's dial things back and let's kind of set some boundaries, and especially regarding children, okay? Especially because kids are getting caught in this crossfire and making irreversible mistakes that they will regret for the rest of their lives. And that is just absolutely tragic. Now, I think when a lot of us see things like this and see that Dylan is upset and Dylan is feeling down and sad about the backlash, it's just like, I personally don't direct my frustrations so much at just him, because like I said, this is a problem. I'm more so upset with the people who are hiring him than what he's doing in his game and all this kind of stuff. While I think that he shouldn't be doing it, the problem is that he is getting positive reinforcement for it. Some people would argue and say, well, don't talk about it. Don't talk about it. Don't retweet it. Don't give it exposure, and none of this will happen. But, and you know what, maybe I'm wrong, but I'm of the opinion that it was us being quiet about these kind of things that escalated this situation to where it is now. All right? The whole live and let live mentality, which I have, like, and I consider myself pretty libertarian for the most part, because I'm not really super political, which is funny because a lot of people just make a bunch of assumptions because morally speaking, you know, I believe in the Bible and I follow the Bible, and because of that, it's and because there are a lot of conservative values that align with the Bible, and people are just like, oh, alt-right Trumper, this, that, the other, all the time, and it's just like, okay, I voted like once in my life. It was Republican, but it was, when was that? Like a lot. It was when John McCain was running. I voted for him. That said, I probably will vote next election, all that kind of stuff, even though I'm not even sure how much it counts and how much it matters, because I think politics are extremely corrupt and so on and so forth, and don't even get me started. But that being said, I kind of aligned myself with libertarian over the past couple years or so, because I thought, okay, this makes sense to me. This makes sense to where it's like, you know, more on the conservative side of libertarianism, where I'm just like, okay, well, as long as, you know, people can do what they want, live and let live type mentality, that's fine. Well, I'm starting to see that live and let live, and this whole, oh, we just want to exist type thing, and oh, sure, that's reasonable. And trying to be reasonable with this kind of stuff, the slippery slope happened. And this is where we're at now, where children are being mutilated. Women are having their spaces invaded. It's like, oh, and maybe we got to be more vocal about this kind of stuff. And that's why I think staying quiet about these things is just, you're just going to let them take over even more if we're quiet on it. That's my take on it. And while I know it's frustrating, it's annoying to see all this stuff, I don't think the actual people who are supporting this, I don't think that they outnumber us who don't. I think a lot of it is Truny Tunes on Twitter. And one thing we've seen from Twitter time and time again is that a lot of things that they support on there and a lot of people support on there, and you'll see get a ton of retweets and likes and this and that, they're not actually spending money. They're not actually supporting a lot of this stuff financially. And that's why get woke, go broke is a real thing, because the woke people, just a lot of them in general, don't work and have no work ethic and are not pulling an income. So they're not even financially supporting these things. Also, they're some of the most morally corrupt people you can imagine. And so they're probably, they support theft. They support all that kind of stuff. So how much are they actually financially supporting these companies? I don't think it's as much as one would think. So while there may be a lot of exposure going on here, I still think it's important that we speak out against this stuff, because otherwise they will take over. And before you know it, we're going to get in another position again to where we were, where it still is like there's still some residual effect of that, where people can lose their job for this opinion or that opinion. We just saw it with Kara, for example. I've made videos about her getting fired from limited run games for following some conservative accounts on social media. So if we were more vocal and stood up more against this stuff, then I don't think that things would have escalated to where it was. Maybe I'm wrong, but that's my opinion. So that's why I think we need to speak out against this kind of stuff. But this whole dude's he ain't even, as annoying as he is, he's not even the biggest problem. I mean, we see stuff like this, like Dylan Mulvaney to replace Lara Croft in the next Tomb Raider game. This was satire. Babylon Bee is satire. So many people thought this was real, which was funny. But that's just where we're at as society, to where something like this is believable. Now, if something like that happened, I would just freaking laugh at this point, because for multiple reasons. Because A, where society is, and B, Tomb Raider has already been like flushed down the toilet a long time ago anyway. So hey, what's this to add to it? It might as well just be the complete trash fire it is. So I think we got to continue to speak out against a lot of this stuff. I know a lot of people some people at least, are coming after Ollie, because this guy was the one who, he did like the whole transgender thing. He tried to pretend like he was transracial. He wanted to look like a K-pop star, got all these plastic surgeries. And it was preposterous, of course. He found Jesus, got saved, and he's been speaking out a lot against a lot of stuff. And a lot of people are saying that you can't trust him. He just had this overnight change, blah, blah, blah. And hey, maybe that is true. Maybe this is a grift, as they are implying that, okay, he found a way to get some good traction and to be popular. I mean, because look at this. He's getting 47,000 likes on this tweet. And so people say, oh, he's just grifting. But here's the thing is, I'm not here to assess that. I don't see what that's going to accomplish. I think there's bigger fish to fry here than trying to call somebody a grifter or make assumptions about him, which we can never truly know. I just know that as a Christian, and I know other Christians will be able to relate, that the power of God and the power of being saved and being a born-again Christian, the power involved in that and how much it can completely transform your life into just unrecognizable. Okay? It can cause the biggest heart change in people. Look at Black China, for example, as well, and how she got all the fillers dissolved out of her face, got her butt implants removed, silicone stuff, and got her Baphomet tattoo removed or covered up, or I think it was just removed, and so on and so forth. Kat Von D, even, she got blackout tattoos on her arms because she had some tattoos that had some satanic undertones to them, so instead she got solid black sleeves to cover them up. You can see heart changes in people when they become saved. So because of that, and I know the power of God is so strong to do something like that and to make a heart change in people. I've seen it in my own life. So when somebody says they're a born again Christian and that they made a heart change, it's not my job to say they haven't. Now, if he starts to tweet things that are contradicting the Bible, or just flat out like blasphemy, then yeah, I should call that kind of stuff out, as should other Christians. But when here's somebody who's not doing that, I don't think it's our place to do that. Obviously, don't give him money. Don't do this or whatever. You don't, which he's not even seemingly asking for. So I don't see judging him and making assumptions about him, what that's going to accomplish. That's just my take on that. But anyway, before this video gets super long, that's just this situation that's going on right now. This has just been an absolute heck hole. But regardless of that, we got to start standing up against this crap. But anyway, thank you all so much for hanging out with me today. I don't know what else to add to this. Let me know what you think in the comments below. I will catch you next time. And in the meantime, go boom.